Welcome back to the 5-panel blanket crochet along, sponsored by Plymouth Yarns. I'm Edie Eckman, and I hope you've been crocheting along with me so far. You've finished panel 1, or you've gotten started on panel 1, and you're ready to start panel 2. Or maybe you haven't finished panel 1, or you haven't started panel 1. That's okay, you can catch up later. Let's talk about panel 2. Panel 2 is a wave stitch. In wave stitch, we're going to be using 3 colors of yarn, so colors B, C, and D throughout. So we're going to be working BCD, 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 1 row stripes throughout, but you're not going to be cutting the yarn at the end of every row. I'll show you how to carry the yarn up the side, and with 3 colors, you'll be turning and the yarn that you need will be waiting for you at the end of the row. It's really almost like magic. So I love working 1 row stripes with 3 colors. You'll also start recognizing that you'll be going from short stitches to tall stitches and back down again. So you'll be going from single crochet up to treble crochet, back to single crochet. And of course, we're talking about American crochet terminology here throughout. The waves and valleys of this stitch are what makes it so pretty. Here's what it looks like in the blanket itself. So watch the wave stitch video to see how to do the stitch pattern. You'll want to do a gauge swatch unless you feel super secure that you're going to get the same gauge. If you want to skip your gauge swatch, that's okay, but just realize if you're going to skip your gauge swatch, you want to stop after you've worked about 5 inches of the panel and make sure you are matching the pattern gauge. If you aren't matching the pattern gauge after you've done about 5 inches of length, you're going to need to rip that out, start over, because you want this to be the right size. You want the finished panel to be about 8 inches wide. So check your gauge either by doing a gauge swatch on its own. Here's an example of one I did for this colorway. Or go ahead and do it for the whole panel, but just don't go too far before you decide to check your gauge and make sure that you're on target. Work panel 2 all the way until you have 57 inches, then fasten off and join me back here for panel 3. If you have questions, ask them in the comments at the end of the blog, and we'll do our best to answer.